Imagine a lone wanderer, a person much like you, standing on the precipice of a vast and unpredictable journey. This individual, let us call them Alex, has faced hardship after hardship, each more relentless than the last. We find them gazing out over the unknown, weighed down by the trials they've endured, and yet uncertain of the strength needed to take another step forward. But as fate would have it, they stumble upon a tattered scroll, a whisper of ancient wisdom penned by those who, centuries ago, also weathered their own storms. These 8 Stoic teachings hold within them the power to transform struggle into resilience, fear into acceptance, and stagnation into growth. Have you ever stood at a crossroads, unsure if you have what it takes to keep moving? Or perhaps you've found yourself awake at night, consumed by worries of tomorrow or regrets of yesterday, seeking an answer, a way to carry on. This is where Stoicism becomes more than philosophy. It becomes a beacon of light. As Alex reads each teaching, they realize these aren't just words, but powerful tools that can be wielded in the face of life's hardest challenges. Let us journey with Alex through these teachings, one by one, as they learn to endure, persevere, and find peace amidst the chaos. By the end of this tale, you too may feel a newfound strength, a quiet confidence, that Stoicism can indeed guide you through the darkest of days. 1. Seek wisdom. For Alex, the first teaching of Stoicism came on an unexpected day, while sitting with an elderly traveler in a quiet town square. This wise elder, weathered by the years, was known for his stories and gentle smile. After hearing of Alex's struggles, he simply asked, "Do you seek to know, or do you seek to understand?" This question lingered in Alex's mind, resonating with something deep and true. The Stoics, as it turns out, didn't believe in simply knowing all the answers. They believed in the pursuit of deeper understanding. This wisdom was not a destination, it was a lifelong journey. Seneca, a renowned Stoic, once said, "As long as you live, keep learning how to live." But how does one embark on this path of wisdom? Wisdom, Alex realized, wasn't about collecting answers or winning arguments. It was about cultivating an open mind and listening more than speaking. Wisdom required humility, the acknowledgement that we are all constantly learning, that there is no moment of arrival. Alex understood that each challenge they faced, each success and failure, held within it a lesson. Every experience was a teacher waiting to be noticed. As Alex reflected, they began to approach each day with curiosity, asking questions and observing without judgment. For instance, instead of dwelling on why something painful had happened, Alex would ask, "What can I learn from this?" Instead of fearing the future, they would consider, "How can I be better prepared?" With each question, Alex felt their perspective shift slightly. The storms of life no longer seemed like random occurrences, but became opportunities for growth. Does this resonate with you? How often do we approach our struggles with an open heart, ready to learn? What if every challenge is a hidden lesson waiting to shape us into something stronger? In adopting this mindset, Alex found a sense of peace, a calm curiosity that replaced anxiety and fear. They understood that wisdom wasn't about avoiding challenges or removing all uncertainty. It was about developing the resilience to embrace them with a questioning mind. For Alex, seeking wisdom meant asking the right questions and remaining open to the answers life offered, even if they were painful or difficult to accept. And so, with a mind open to learning and a heart ready to face each experience as a lesson, Alex continued their journey. The path was still unclear, but now they felt less burdened, more equipped to face whatever might lie ahead. As they stepped forward, they recalled the elders' words and moved with a newfound purpose, wondering what else the ancient scroll had in store. What might the next teaching reveal? 2. Understand what is within your control. As Alex journeyed onward, a fierce storm swept through the landscape. Thunder rumbled overhead, and rain poured down with an unrelenting force, transforming the ground into a treacherous mudslide. Amid the chaos, Alex stumbled, slipping and struggling to regain balance. Frustration and fear surged within, but just as despair threatened to overtake them, Alex recalled the second teaching from the scroll: understand what is within your control. In that moment, Alex paused, taking shelter beneath a large tree, and pondered the lesson. Epictetus, a great Stoic philosopher, had said, "We cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them." What power these words held! It wasn't the storm, the mud, or even the slippery path that truly mattered. No, what mattered was the response to these events, the choice to either panic or remain composed, to resist or accept. Alex realized that there was no controlling the storm, but they could control their approach to it. How often, Alex wondered, do we attempt to command life's storms to cease, feeling frustrated when they do not bend to our will? Have you too felt the pressure to control things beyond your influence, a challenging situation, a difficult person, or even the flow of time itself? Stoicism teaches us that such efforts are not only futile, but also exhausting. True peace lies in understanding what lies within our grasp and what does not. Taking a deep breath, Alex decided to focus only on what could be controlled, finding a safe path forward, keeping calm, and preparing for each step ahead. They looked down, adjusted their footing, and continued with cautious determination. By releasing the need to control the rain or rage against the storm, they found a renewed sense of stability. Each step became purposeful, each choice intentional. Interestingly, this simple shift, letting go of what was uncontrollable, lifted a weight from Alex's heart. Instead of feeling overwhelmed, they felt empowered. They could not halt the rain, but they could navigate through it with strength and clarity. Can you imagine such liberation, the freedom that comes from focusing only on what you can influence? By letting go of the impossible, you discover where your true power lies. The next time you face a storm, remember that while you may not stop the thunder, you can always choose how you'll walk through the rain. With this newfound perspective, Alex moved forward, stepping through the storm with calm assurance. They understood now that life's difficulties would often come unbidden and uncontrollable, like storms in the night. Yet, they also knew they could choose their reaction to each one. What other insights, Alex wondered, would the ancient scroll reveal on this journey? As the rain began to lessen and a soft light broke through the clouds, Alex felt a new resolve and anticipation for the next lesson. Each step through hardship was becoming easier, not because the challenges had lessened, but because Alex's mind had grown stronger. What, they mused, would the next teaching hold? 3. Cultivate compassion. After the storm had passed, Alex came across a small, secluded village. The people here were friendly, yet there was a palpable sense of hardship in the air. Many of them bore the signs of struggle, tired eyes, worn hands, and quiet smiles that hinted at a life of toil. Observing them, Alex felt a stirring of empathy, a sense of shared humanity that transcended their own trials. It was then that they recalled the third teaching of Stoicism: cultivate compassion. As they rested, Alex remembered the words of Marcus Aurelius: "What injures the hive injures the bee." This wisdom spoke of interconnectedness, a reminder that each person's struggle was tied to the greater fabric of humanity. Compassion, the Stoics believed, was more than pity. It was an active choice to see oneself in others and to alleviate their burdens when possible. But how, Alex wondered, could this compassion extend beyond mere sentiment into action? the opportunity soon arrived. One evening, while gathering by a fire, Alex noticed a villager struggling with a heavy load of firewood. Instinctively, they stepped forward to help, easing the weight and sharing a quiet, understanding smile. The villager expressed deep gratitude, and in that moment, Alex felt a surprising sense of strength blossom within. By offering compassion, they had not only helped another, but had also lightened their own heart. This encounter prompted Alex to reflect deeply. Isn't it true that, in lifting others, we often lift ourselves? Compassion, as Stoicism teaches, is not a weakness, but a source of resilience. It strengthens the bonds between us, reminding us that we are not solitary islands, but threads woven into a shared tapestry. In times of hardship, extending kindness to others can be the very anchor that steadies us, grounding us in purpose and connection. Consider this. How many times have you found yourself feeling renewed after helping someone else, even in a small way? When life's struggles weigh heavily, could the act of reaching out to another actually lighten our own load? Through compassion, we transform isolation into unity, discovering that the struggles we face are not ours alone, but shared journeys that intertwine with others. For Alex, this realization became a guiding principle. Compassion became not just an emotion, but a practice, a commitment to acknowledge the burdens of others and, when possible, to ease them. Each time they offered a helping hand, a listening ear, or a comforting word, Alex found renewed courage to continue their own journey. It was as though each act of kindness infused them with a strength they hadn't known they possessed. As they prepared to leave the village, Alex felt a sense of gratitude toward these humble people who had unknowingly taught them the power of compassion. With every goodbye, they felt a deeper connection to humanity and a resolve to carry this virtue with them on their path forward. And so, Alex departed, heartened by this new understanding. Compassion would become a wellspring of strength, a reminder that their journey was never solitary. The road ahead may be long, but Alex was no longer walking it alone, knowing they carried the collective spirit of others within them. With renewed strength and a sense of unity, Alex continued on, curious about what other Stoic wisdom lay waiting within the scroll. What would the next teaching reveal about resilience in the face of hardship? 4. Embrace the present moment. As Alex ventured deeper into the wilderness, they found themselves increasingly troubled by memories of past failures and anxieties about the uncertain future. The path ahead was shrouded in fog, each step forward seeming more daunting than the last. In the silence of the woods, as shadows began to lengthen, Alex felt the weight of regret and worry pressing down upon them. It was in this moment of doubt that they recalled the fourth teaching of Stoicism: embrace the present moment. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, had once written, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." These words, though simple, held profound meaning. What if, Alex thought, the present moment was all they truly had? What if every second spent fretting over the past or fearing the future only robbed them of the strength they needed right now? To test this wisdom, Alex paused, closing their eyes and taking a slow, deep breath. They focused on the sounds around them, the rustling leaves, the soft chirping of distant birds, the feel of the cool earth beneath their feet. In that moment, Alex was fully alive, grounded, and calm. The fog no longer seemed ominous, but rather an invitation to take things one step at a time, trusting that clarity would come when needed. Have you ever noticed how the mind tends to wander, pulling you into the past or pushing you into the future? How often do we become so entangled in memories or anxieties that we miss the present entirely? Stoicism teaches us that the present is where our power lies. It is the only moment we can truly act upon. By centering ourselves in the now, we release ourselves from the grip of regret and fear, gaining clarity and strength. Alex found peace in this practice, learning that the present was not a prison but a place of liberation. Whenever their thoughts began to drift toward past mistakes or future uncertainties, they would gently return to the present, refocusing on what could be done in that exact moment. The path forward remained foggy, but Alex's steps grew surer, each one anchored in the reality of now. Can you feel the relief that comes from letting go of the past and future, if only for a moment? Imagine the lightness of mind, the clarity of purpose that fills the space once occupied by worry. The present moment, Stoicism teaches, is our true home, a place of peace even amid the chaos of life. From that point onward, Alex began to treasure each moment, however small or fleeting, as a gift. Even in hardship, they found a sense of calm in simply being present, unburdened by past or future. This newfound awareness allowed them to walk forward with steadiness and ease, discovering that life was not a race to the next destination, but a series of steps, each as valuable as the last. With a quiet mind and a steady heart, Alex continued down the path, feeling lighter and more grounded than before. They could not know what the next bend in the road would bring, but that no longer mattered. Each step was enough. As they walked on, curious about the next teaching within the ancient scroll, they wondered what other wisdom might await. What other hidden strengths lay within, waiting to be revealed? 5. Learn from adversity. As Alex continued their journey, they encountered an unexpected obstacle, a steep, rocky hillside that looked nearly impassable. With no alternative route in sight, Alex braced themselves and began the climb. The terrain was unforgiving. Sharp stones cut into their hands, and loose gravel shifted underfoot with each step. Every inch of progress seemed to demand an immense effort, and more than once they were tempted to turn back. But then Alex recalled the fifth teaching from the Stoic scroll: learn from adversity. Seneca, a wise Stoic philosopher, once said, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." This simple truth reminded Alex that struggles, while painful, are also opportunities for growth. Adversity was not meant to break them, but to build their resilience, to shape them into something stronger. Like a blade being forged in fire, each challenge faced would ultimately refine their spirit. So, Alex pressed on, shifting their mindset from frustration to curiosity. Instead of viewing the climb as a punishment, they began to see it as a test, a chance to learn patience, perseverance, and even humility. They noticed that by adjusting their movements, pacing their breath, and focusing on one foothold at a time, the ascent became less daunting. The hillside, once an enemy, was now a teacher, revealing new insights with every step. Think for a moment about the challenges you have faced in your own life. How often do we resist adversity, seeing it only as an obstacle rather than an opportunity? Stoicism teaches that every hardship has within it a lesson, a chance to grow stronger and wiser. What if, instead of dreading our struggles, we approached them with the question, what can I learn from this? Could the trials that seem most difficult become the very experiences that prepare us for greater victories? With this new perspective, Alex felt a shift. The hardship of the climb remained, but their relationship to it had changed. The sharp stones still cut, and the path was no less steep, but the sense of dread had given way to determination. Each time they slipped, they would pause, assess, and adjust, learning from each misstep. It was no longer about avoiding failure, but about growing through it. Eventually, Alex reached the top, exhausted but triumphant. Gazing back at the path they had climbed, they felt a deep sense of accomplishment. The hill had indeed been treacherous, but it had also become a source of strength. Through struggle, Alex had become more resilient, discovering a capacity for endurance they hadn't known existed. Reflecting on this experience, Alex realized that life's most valuable lessons often come dressed as hardship. Stoicism reminds us that adversity isn't a punishment, but a necessary part of growth. Each struggle, each setback, becomes a stepping stone, guiding us closer to our true potential. With a newfound sense of purpose, Alex looked ahead, knowing that future challenges would inevitably come. Yet they were no longer intimidated. Whatever hardships lay ahead would only serve to refine them further, revealing new strengths and deeper resilience. As Alex descended from the hill, eager to uncover the next lesson from the ancient scroll, they couldn't help but wonder, what other insights lay hidden within life's trials? 6. Practice gratitude. As Alex journeyed on, they came upon a quiet clearing just as the sun began to set. The air was calm, and a gentle breeze stirred the tall grasses, filling the space with a sense of peace. Taking a seat on an old fallen log, Alex let out a long breath and began to reflect on their travels, the obstacles they had overcome, the strength they had discovered, and the small comforts they had encountered along the way. It was in this moment of quiet contemplation that they remembered the sixth teaching of Stoicism: practice gratitude. Seneca once observed, "True happiness is to enjoy the present, without anxious dependence upon the future." To the Stoics, gratitude was more than simply appreciating good fortune. It was a powerful tool that allowed one to find peace even amid hardship. By focusing on what they already had rather than on what was lacking, a person could cultivate resilience against the storms of life. Alex closed their eyes, remembering the warmth of the sun earlier that day, the sound of laughter shared with villagers back on the trail, and the refreshing taste of cool water from a mountain stream. These moments, seemingly small, filled them with a profound sense of contentment. Despite the hardships, there was much to be thankful for, and each piece of gratitude felt like an anchor, keeping Alex grounded in a sea of uncertainty. Have you ever paused, amid a difficult day, to notice something you're thankful for? How often do we overlook the blessings scattered throughout our lives, instead allowing our focus to drift to what we lack? In practicing gratitude, Stoicism reminds us to shift our attention from scarcity to abundance, from desire to contentment. What if, instead of wishing for what isn't, we found joy in what already is? As Alex continued to reflect, they began to see that gratitude didn't mean ignoring difficulties. Rather, it was a way of finding light even in dark times, a reminder that beauty exists even amid struggle. The flicker of gratitude was enough to warm the soul, offering comfort and strength to endure. With this realization, Alex made it a habit to end each day with a moment of gratitude, listing 3 things they were thankful for. Sometimes it was the kindness of a stranger or the shelter of a tree in a storm. Other times, it was simply the satisfaction of having completed another day's journey. Whatever it was, each item reminded Alex that life's value was not measured by grand achievements, but by the quiet blessings that surrounded them. Imagine ending each day by acknowledging the things that bring you joy, no matter how small. Would it change the way you view your life, your hardships, your goals? Practicing gratitude does not remove the difficulties, but it changes how we experience them, helping us to find strength in the midst of challenges. As Alex rose to leave the clearing, they felt lighter, as though a gentle warmth had filled their heart. Gratitude had revealed itself as a source of resilience, a way to keep going, not in spite of challenges, but because of the beauty that still existed alongside them. Alex's spirit was renewed, ready for the road ahead. With a smile, they wondered about the next teaching, curious about what more Stoicism could offer. What new wisdom would reveal itself to guide their journey? 7. Cultivate inner strength. As dawn broke the next day, Alex found themselves standing at the edge of a vast, open plain. The path stretched out ahead, barren and exposed to the elements. With no shelter in sight and a long journey still to come, a sense of loneliness and vulnerability began to creep into their thoughts. They had already endured so much on this journey, but this moment tested something deeper, a sense of inner strength that the Stoics valued profoundly. The seventh teaching from the ancient scroll surfaced in Alex's mind. Cultivate inner strength. Epictetus, another wise Stoic, once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This phrase echoed in Alex's heart as they took a steadying breath, feeling the enormity of the path ahead. The Stoics believed that inner strength wasn't about physical endurance or external power, but the resilience of spirit, the courage to face hardships with calm acceptance. Strength, they taught, lay not in controlling everything around us, but in controlling our reaction to whatever life brings. Have you ever been in a situation that left you feeling completely vulnerable, as if you were facing the world alone? In those moments, it's easy to feel powerless, to let fear seep in and undermine our courage. But Stoicism invites us to remember that our true strength is internal, forged by how we respond to challenges, not by avoiding them. Determined to test this teaching, Alex decided to walk with a steady, deliberate pace, facing each step on the open plain as a choice to endure. The wind blew fiercely, and the sun beat down harshly, yet Alex's resolve did not waver. Instead of dwelling on the difficulty, they focused on each moment as it came, reminding themselves of the strength they had discovered on this journey. Each step became an affirmation of resilience, a testament to the power that lay within. With time, Alex found that the loneliness of the plain was replaced by a quiet, inner confidence. They didn't need a crowd, a shelter, or even ideal conditions to continue. Their strength came from within, an untapped reservoir that seemed to grow with every challenge faced. For the first time, Alex understood that they didn't need to eliminate hardship to feel strong. They simply needed to trust in their own capacity to endure. Imagine, if you will, drawing strength from your own heart, even when the world around you offers no comfort. What if, in times of trial, you looked within, trusting that your spirit can handle whatever comes your way? Inner strength, as Stoicism teaches, is the quiet confidence that we are enough, that we have everything we need to face each moment with grace. As Alex walked on, they felt an inner peace settle over them. The vast, empty plain no longer seemed daunting. It was now a canvas upon which they could paint resilience, courage, and endurance. They had discovered a truth the Stoics cherished deeply, that inner strength was not dependent on circumstance, but on one's own choice to remain steadfast, calm, and unyielding in the face of adversity. At the end of the plain, as Alex looked back on the long stretch of land they had crossed, they realized they were stronger than when they had first begun. With each step, they had cultivated an enduring strength that would carry them forward on any path. With renewed spirit, Alex prepared to continue, curious about the final teaching that awaited them in the ancient scroll. What would the last lesson reveal? And how would it guide them in the journey still to come? 8. Practice patience. As Alex continued their journey, they approached a river that flowed swiftly, blocking the path forward. There was no bridge in sight, and the water surged too strongly to cross immediately. Frustration began to rise within them. After all they had faced, to be halted now felt almost unbearable. But then, the eighth teaching from the scroll surfaced in Alex's mind. Practice patience. Marcus Aurelius once reflected, "Time is like a river, a violent current of events, glimpsed once and already carried past us." For the Stoics, patience was not simply the act of waiting. It was the art of waiting with purpose and trust in life's timing. Rather than trying to force progress, they taught the wisdom of allowing things to unfold naturally. Alex understood that the river would calm in time, and by choosing patience, they could find peace, even in delay. Have you ever felt the urge to rush forward, frustrated by the need to wait? How often do we let impatience cloud our perspective, viewing delay as an obstacle rather than an opportunity? Stoicism encourages us to recognize the rhythm of life and to understand that each moment, even the waiting, has its purpose. As Alex settled on the riverbank, they observed the natural flow of the water, reflecting on the journey thus far. Each lesson they had encountered, wisdom, control, compassion, presence, resilience, gratitude, and inner strength, had come at the right time, shaping them gradually, like stones polished by the steady flow of a river. In this moment of pause, Alex felt a sense of calm, realizing that just as the river would eventually ease, so too would life's challenges, if met with patience. Alex took a deep breath, finding peace in the stillness. The waiting was not empty, but rich with purpose. Instead of focusing on the frustration of delay, Alex used this time to reflect on their journey, to appreciate the strength and wisdom they had gained. Slowly, they felt their heart lighten, the impatience giving way to a quiet acceptance. Imagine, if you can, allowing yourself to pause when faced with a seemingly insurmountable obstacle. What if, instead of rushing or resisting, you embraced the pause as part of the path? Patience, as Stoicism teaches, is a profound strength, a way to stay grounded when life's currents seem beyond control. Hours later, as the river's current softened, Alex realized they were ready to cross. The path ahead felt different now, not because the challenges had lessened, but because Alex's mindset had transformed. With each lesson, they had grown stronger, more resilient, and more at peace with the journey itself. As Alex stepped forward, crossing the river, they knew they would face future trials with newfound calm and clarity. The journey, they now understood, was not about arriving at a destination, but about becoming the kind of person who could walk any path with courage, patience, and purpose. With all 8 teachings of Stoicism as their guide, Alex had become a different person. Each principle had offered a tool for resilience, each moment of struggle a chance to grow. The road would continue to twist and turn, but with these lessons in mind, Alex was ready to face any hardship with a spirit unbreakable and calm. And now I ask you, dear viewer, what challenges lie on your path? Which of these teachings can guide you through your own trials? Embracing these Stoic principles, we can each learn to walk life's journey with a strength that endures. If you found value in these timeless teachings, consider sharing your thoughts in the comments. Let us know which principle resonates with you most. And remember to like, share, and subscribe for more insights into Stoicism and ancient wisdom. Thank you for joining us on this journey, and may your path forward be filled with resilience, peace, and quiet strength. Stay strong, and until next time, stay stoic.